What's up and welcome to the Active Amputee podcast. Everything people with a limb difference need to live an active and exciting lifestyle. I'm Björn Eser, the founder of and shaker and maker behind the Active Amputee. And you're listening to episode number 12. And today I'm talking with Emilie Stroemshed, one of the co-founders and the creative director at Anatomic Studios, a small company from Sweden that produces stunning covers for prosthetic devices. Great. So welcome, Emilie. Today on the show is Emilie Stroemshed. She's, I think, the co-founder and creative director at Anatomic Studios. And welcome, Emilie. It's great having you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to speak with you.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Where do I reach you today? Anatomic Studios is from Sweden. Where are you today?
Yes, I am currently at home in Malmö, and it's also in Malmö where Anatomic Studios, where we have our office and design studio. But today I'm working from home.
Cool. I guess it's also Corona related, as so many of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I guess it's a luck for me. I reach you at home. I guess we're going to have a nice session.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Emilie, tell us a bit more about you before we dive more into what you do. Just give us a bit about your background.
Yes. So, yeah, like you mentioned, I'm the creative director at Anatomic Studios, and that is kind of like creative is kind of how I would describe myself and what has always been a large part of who I am and what I've done already from being a kid. I always loved sewing, creating things, painting, anything. My background, I could say, is as an engineer, and it's like a hybrid engineering and design. So, because besides from loving to create and design things, I also am very fascinated about different types of technology, but technology in the way that how can we use it to do good things, not just make another gadget. So combining those things, I think is very interesting. So yeah, and I'm the co-founder of Anatomic Studios. I've been working full time with that for the past 4.5 years. And I wouldn't call it work. It's for me, it's a lifestyle, and it's more or less my baby, I would say, that I have together with my co-founder. So we're currently 2 people working at and with Anatomic Studios. Yeah, short about me.
I think that sounds very cool. You already mentioned it a few times. I guess in the wider amputee community scene, it's probably Anatomic Studios by now is probably a household name, I would say. But if you had to describe it to someone just with 1 or 2 sentences, what is Anatomic Studios? What makes it special?
Yes. So, well, if you kind of talk about the essence and what we want to do with Anatomic Studios, we really want to use things that we love and are good at, like design and fashion and technology, and put all of these things together to work as an inspiration and empowerment for amputees, and use those tools to give the possibility to self-express yourself through the way your prosthesis looks, for example, and to really in assistive devices in general. And if we look at a bigger picture, prosthetic covers is what we currently offer and what we do right now. But we see so many things in the same type of field and area where this type of approach, where design and fashion can add so much value to an assistive device and turn it into something completely different. That was a lot more than a sentence, but I can say so much about this.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Emilie, you're very modest. Anatomic Studios, and you as the creative director there, you produce stunning covers.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really makes such a difference. As you said, if you look back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, when basically a cover meant you get something which probably was a skin-colored foam off-the-shelf thingy, which kind of did the job if it had to, but wasn't something where people would say, oh, cool, I want one of those.
Yeah.
But in the last couple of years, yeah, prosthetic covers are really, as you said, it's something to be proud of, to be shown off, actually.
Yeah,
And to, personalize your prosthetic device, to show style, to match it with your mood, with your clothes for the events. It's great.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? If I'm not mistaken, you're not an amputee yourself.
No, I'm not. Well, it was, I'd say it's the last years of my education in engineering and design that I started to really like get a real interest for prosthetics and how it is supposed to replace a limb, and how important, there's so many factors in that it's so important. And I ended up doing my master thesis about prosthetic arms and how you can use different types of 3D technology to make both better fitting prosthetic arms and better looking ones. In that process, I crossed paths with my co-founder Christian, who has a background as a prosthetist and been working as a prosthetist for almost 15 years now. And he's been working with both upper and lower limb amputees. And so he was involved in my project. And in parallel with that, he also had one of the amputees that he's helping at the clinic that he has been following as a user from when she was a child. She was really unhappy about the way her prosthesis looked, and it really got to the point where she didn't want to use the prosthesis at all. So with the help of one of his friends, they had developed a first concept for her that was a cover that was with a whole different type of feel and look than these foam ones that you mentioned. So I was doing my project in parallel with that happening, and we just felt that I wanted to continue working, taking my work with the thesis and make it into something, and he wanted this project with his patient to not just stay as a project. So we decided just to join forces, and we also became really, really good friends along the way. So 4.5 years later, we are working as Anatomic Studios.
That is really cool. Yeah. So you said 4.5 years from a project and one not very happy. Well, I never liked the word patient, but kind of a prosthetic user saying, no, actually, this isn't me. I don't feel comfortable with this one. If you look back at these 4.5, 5 years, looking back, what do you think were kind of milestones for you as a company, but also for you as a team working on these challenges?
Yeah, well, I'd say like in the beginning when everything is just, the excitement, you see you have something here and you just want to do something of it, but like where to start and how do we go about this? But a first really important milestone was that we got accepted to something called Mink here in Malmö. And it's, you could say it's a startup house or an incubator where they gather different types of startups that do so vastly different things, but there's still so many synergies that can be made by putting all these people in the same house. So that really got us off to start building the foundation of the company, and we had a place to have our studio, and start working from there. And just also bit by bit having the word spread about this first covers that were delivered to users. And the word spread, and other people requested or asked, I want one too. And clinics around the country contacted us. And so we put very little focus on marketing, actually. It's been just, word of mouth in many, many ways. So that has been, and it's still an ongoing process.
Which I think is cool. I mean, what better than satisfied customers, users, and their testimonials saying, well, actually, if you want something cool, you should chat with them. I mean, it doesn't get much better.
Sure. I mean, exactly. That's the best kind of review you can get. We're really humble and happy about all of that type of spread that we've had, and also along the way we've won a few design awards, which has also exposed us to the other worlds outside of the prosthetics industry. Yeah, we've got to meet His Majesty, the King of Sweden, along the way and present the covers to him. And he was very curious and thought he thought it was strange that people wearing prosthetics couldn't have more to choose from, like for so long. I mean, 4.5 years, like I mentioned, but it feels like in terms of events, might as well have been 10 years. But it has passed in like 1 or 2 in the feeling of how time has passed during time we've been working with it. But also, like here in Sweden, there are some like innovation agencies, for example, that support different types of initiatives and projects. And we were selected as one of those, like from the whole country. And that was really, gave us really some more resources to explore more of the type of platform that we want to build and just continue to develop more of the services. And we're still not there, but it really it gave us the chance to really start doing it. Wow, there's so many things. Yeah, no, I think those are from the beginning the first ones that really were crucial for us to start really establishing ourselves as a studio and a company, and really have a place to call this is our place. And
cool. Emilie, since we linked up the first time 2.5 years ago, I mean, whenever I talk to you, I can feel the passion you have for this work, and I can see the joy in your eyes, and it's just sparkling, and I mean, there's pleasure oozing out of what you talk about. At the same time, I'm pretty sure it was not all plain sailing. It was probably lots of challenges and obstacles and foreseen and unforeseen hurdles in the way. What were some of the things where you were struggling, or where you thought, wow, we picture that differently? Here we need a different approach. What were some of the things you really also grew on when you kind of thought, okay, that's our process?
Yeah, well, I think in terms of like product wise and like in developing the product, it's always, and it's so valuable in the beginning to and also throughout the whole journey to have that, you know, user feedback to, okay, how can we make the product better? But okay, now from the very first covers we delivered, there were some that broke in a way that we weren't like, it shouldn't do this, or how can we change this? And we thought we had really now we have set the product, it's complete, or it's done, but it never is. So, but to kind of take a new grasp on, like, okay, how can we think about this different? And that's an ongoing thing, I think, always fine-tuning and tweaking, and based on the feedback from our users and from clinics that we work with. On a personal level, I think, like I mentioned, and this is a lifestyle for me, and it's my baby, and that can both have its pros and cons. Of course, it's sometimes difficult maybe to put it aside a little bit and think about other things. So in some stages, there has been a little bit too much work. And not a lot of other things. So, but it's important to have that balance. And I think as a company, we have learned so much, both as people and like in relationships and colleagues and working with our users. I mean, it's an ongoing learning all the time, but it's been really good for also the company to really find a good balance in the private life as well, you know. To also get that kind of mental break and think about something else, and then you can go back into it with new energy and new ideas, and without just being in the bubble all the time.
We talked earlier where you said, okay, up until a couple of years ago, we're talking about foam and skin color and more kind of the chic of compression sockets or something like that. But today we have all the chances of 3D printing and computer aided design and things. So for you in that process, what were some of the, let's say, the aha moments where you thought, oh, that opens up a new door, or wow, he has potential in there in terms of material and technology?
Yeah, so like at this stage, and so far we worked with 3D printing as the primary manufacturing method because of all the benefits it has, and also chosen we want to stay like very agile and flexible as a company and not tie ourselves up too much to a certain method or a certain material, and really be able to like, okay, what are users requesting? What is important? Is it that type of material, that type of designs? So we want to be able to like pick from here and there and use the tools that are most suitable for the purpose. But I mean, we always follow developments in 3D printing when it comes when new materials become available. We always try to do some testing with new materials, and we always have users that are willing to try it and give us the feedback. So yeah, no, we just try to keep our eyes and ears open for everything new that comes in, and then we just we want to try and evaluate it. And I think material-wise, especially when it comes to 3D printing, that is what will really open up new doors with the technology, and not only in this field, in so many other fields, and it will have a huge impact.
If there would be a little magician saying, Emilie, I'm going to give you one new material. You can decide what should be properties. What would you wish for?
Okay. Well, I would wish for something that could be, I'm putting very high standards on this one, I hear in my head, because I would love it to have a very good surface finish, to have more soft and flexible properties, not like the foam, still like more water resistant, but still a softer feel than what the general plastic materials have. And of course, durability in all directions, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that's not too much to ask for.
I think I'm going to chat with a little magician. I'm sure they're already working on it.
Yeah, that's great.
We sometimes hear, because for the last couple of years, I've been struggling with socket fit and what's the best material, and have a window in it or not, and these things, and combining softer and harder outer and inner sockets. And my kids very often play around with, well, couldn't it be something that, is molded, and whenever it's warm, it kind of remolds, and when you actually cool it down a bit, it stays in that way. And couldn't we have little air pockets in there? And they just, so it's really, I mean, now they're a bit older, but when they were 12, 13, so we had all these engineering talks about new devices, new materials, and how to work with them around the kitchen table.
But like memory materials and smart materials that can really change properties depending on what the area that you're using it for.
I think there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. But I think give it a few years, and we won't have an idea today what will actually be possible tomorrow.
True. Yeah. You were mentioning it earlier. I mean, obviously, whenever we work with covers or anything else around the prosthetic, we're looking on one hand at style, identity, personality, but obviously we're also looking at usability and ease of use, especially if people are probably also motorically limited with fingers and putting things on and taking them off again. But that's at the same time also, you want to make sure if you invest some of your money in a cover, it doesn't break right away. How do you find the right balance between, being able to work with delicate, intricate designs and kind of really more airy designs, and at the same time make sure, you deliver something where people can enjoy it for a longer time?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's really also with the balance, it's you really have different aspects of everything. And of course, for example, a design, the type of design or the pattern has a huge factor in terms of durability and strength. So it's always good, or we often have that if we have a user that have a certain lifestyle that is very active, or it's a certain activity that they want to be able to do with the cover. And we often have a conversation and discussion about it, so we can see like, okay, in this case, maybe we shouldn't go for one of the more delicate patterns, because in this case, even higher level of durability is prioritized. So it's always like all these different priorities, and how high should we put each of them. Like I mentioned when we spoke about material, that the last year or so we have access to other types of materials as well that we sometimes use for users that need other types of properties, or where the durability is extra important. To condense it, it's good to have a conversation with either the prosthetist or the user, or combined, so we know exactly what does this cover need to fulfill for this specific user, and then we can look at a solution for that.
Talking about kind of tailor-made solutions, making sure what you offer really meets the needs and the interest of the amputee. If I look at all your products, are they kind of off the shelf? Are they semi-customized? Are they fully customized? What's the range of products you're actually offering?
Yes, so at the moment we have two different categories, and they are called the semi-custom design and fully custom design. But really, both of these two categories are highly customized and unique for each of the user that we make them for. So in terms of fit and shape of the cover, we always customize it to suit the specific components and to harmonize well with the corresponding leg and other types of requirements or that the user has. So everything is customized in fit and shape. Then what differs these two categories that we have right now is in terms of the design itself, or the pattern. So semi-customized is a collection of existing patterns that the user can mix and match in between. At the moment we have 6 different types of patterns, and you can choose one type of pattern for the front and another for the back, and then there's like this you can practically choose any type of color and color combination for that. So it's called semi-customized because it's a collection with existing patterns, but we still apply it to a fully customized shape and fit for the cover. And then for the fully customized design and pattern, that's when we see it like you're getting a custom tattoo made for you, or you're going to the tailor to get like this specific dress or suit. And in those cases, we work very closely with the user. Typically, he or she has a general idea or theme of what they would like for the design. It can be anything. It can be the names of their children. It can be the favorite soccer team. Right now, I'm working on a custom design where the user loves boxing, and he loves Muhammad Ali, not only because he's a boxer, but also for who he was as a person. So we're working with really strong quotes that really resonates with the user, and a silhouette of Muhammad Ali, and like incorporating all of that into design to make it something that is so specific for him, and has, I mean, every of these fully custom ones has such a background story to it, why the user chooses to have that specific design. And so that process, like as a designer, that doing that type of process and working that closely with the person who will then wear this product, it's so rewarding and it's so much fun. So, but those are the two categories at the moment. But we have some things in the making as well, to also broaden the categories, to have also other levels of customization, and to offer a broader range.
Is there already time to talk about these new ideas, or are they still secret for next year?
Well,
only if you want to, Emilie. I'm not pushing it.
No, but no, I'm happy to share a little bit, because we're working on a few things that we are hoping will be really something that can add a new dimension to the way that our user experience both the products physically, but also a new digital experience. Because for us, it's so important to really put the user in the position of power to choose themselves, what should my prosthesis look like? And we want to also continue building on that and take that to a new level. So we are spring of 2021 is what we're aiming for, to have some new things coming out. Also completely new collection with a whole different type of setup for the collection than what we have today.
That's exciting. So I think I'm going to knock at your door again in 4 months, 5 months.
Maybe I can give you a sneak peek.
Yeah. Emilie, you were just saying it's really important, especially for you as a designer, but I guess also for the other people in the company who work on then, or what does it really mean in terms of translating it into technical craftsmanship. This connection and the discussions with the prosthetist and especially with the amputee. How do you do? Do people have to come to you to Malmö to the studio from all over the country, or can that be done online? How does the process actually work? If someone says, "Oh, that sounds cool. I'm interested. I want to follow that up."
Yeah. So you're thinking about the fully custom work. So in most of the cases, we have a fully custom cover to be made. We do it digitally, that collaboration. In a few cases, we've had the opportunity to have the user here in Skåne actually, and then we'd love to meet in those cases where it's possible. It gives even more value, I think, to the process. But otherwise, people contact us through our email. We can have either communication over email, we can have a phone call, we can have a Skype or Zoom or Hangout session. It can be everything from putting together a mood board of the inspiration for the design, or some of our users have a super clear idea of what they want to have, and then we just go for that. And in some cases it's more like it's more iteration, and I ask some questions to get some more information out, and like, okay, how can we put something together here that really captures what this person likes and is. It's perfectly fine to have to live on the other side of the globe, and we have this creative process together anyway.
That is great. Yeah. From your stories earlier, I mean, I guess I sense that the reactions from the customers, from amputees, obviously is very positive, and I've seen that with many others, also with people who themselves custom-made covers or so, where they really said, this opens up a new world for us. It's actually, we can be individuals and not just, Otto Bock or my health insurance or whoever says, oh, that's what you get, and then that it is. But what's the reaction actually from, let's say, the industry? How do they react that there are new players in the market, small, exciting, creative, small companies, which have a say in what being an amputee, being someone who uses a prosthetic device today, means?
Yeah, well, I think everyone can agree or have gained that insight of how important it is to involve the user in the creation of the prosthesis that he or she is going to use. But I mean, in these cases, it's not an advantage being a huge corporation, a huge company, because decisions making are made in so many different levels, and it's difficult to, like I mentioned before, being agile and flexible and being able to take action on something right away, because you don't have these like rigid structures on how you work and how you've always worked. I think along the years, as covers have become more available and has been seen more in like social media, and that more of the industry has starting to get that insight also that, okay, maybe this is not just a trend passing by. This is something that really adds so much value to the users that we also serve. I think they are really good at the functionality. They're so good at making the knees and the feet, and I think that they will probably mainly focus on continuing to do those things at all. But I think in general, like with us, we use new types of technology with the 3D printing and the 3D scanning, and it's slowly and bit by bit kind of coming into some of the clinics. More clinics are using the 3D scanning, but 3D printing is still not at all widely used in the industry. But so at the beginning, when we've also spoken to prosthetists, it's been divided between like the curiosity of something new and like, ooh, what can this mean? This sounds like fun, and ooh, can we really give the users that we otherwise serve something more and something cool? And can we also save time in the process by not doing like this manual shaping of the foam covers? That is the traditional one. Yeah, and then there's always like when new technology is coming into an industry, there's always a resistance to it as well. I think like what is this good for, or what will this mean for the work I do? And but I think in the most cases it's only been positive or very curious, like, okay, tell us more.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, if I look at your kind of more off-the-shelf models, the ones where you say, okay, we have different combos, so to say, and you can combine them, do they fit on all, let's say, the standard legs out there? So I don't know, so Ottobock and Endolite and you name it.
The shape and fit of the cover, we always customize. We only create on demand. So we don't have any products on the shelf that standardized that we send out. Everything is really made to that specific person that orders it. It's a lot of work getting that shape and fit as perfect as possible, and then adding a collection pattern to it. The choice of the pattern can be more off the shelf because currently it's 6 different ones. But like I mentioned, there's the combinations you can achieve just by choosing one for the front and another for the back, and then all different colors that you can imagine. So also with the semi-custom, each of those almost become a fully custom, but it's not with your signature or the soccer team logo on it.
Do insurance companies cover your covers, or is it something where people actually really say, no, this is so important for me, or this is something I find so cool that I actually dig into my own pockets and say, yeah, this is my treat for myself? How's the situation in Sweden at the moment?
Yes, so well, we are mainly active here in Scandinavia, and here our covers have been reimbursed by the healthcare system in the different countries.
Great. Yeah.
Actually, all of them have. So that's a really, really good thing. Not only if you think about the next step from the user and then the prosthetist and then if it's the health insurance company or whoever the final bill is sent to, that the whole chain, that everyone can see where that it adds some value. The great majority of our users are in Scandinavia, but the ones we have in the rest of Europe, it's only one, if I remember correctly, that had to pay from their own pocket. In the other cases, health insurance have covered it. It's going more towards that also covers can be reimbursed, that is part of the system. And that's, I think it's a very good development. Yeah.
I agree. I think it makes such a difference if people have the feeling, okay, I lost a leg, I lost whatever limb, and I'm going to have off-the-shelf prosthetic devices, but I still want to show my identity. I want to personalize whatever I can personalize, and why not do that through covers and other things?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Yeah. I think it makes such a difference on how proud you are about, and how I think also in the acceptance process.
Yes.
If I accept this as, okay, this is the new me, this is Bjorn with the prosthetic and then with the cover, I think it makes a difference. Emilie, looking back, what would you say, since you set up the company, what was the most rewarding moment? Maybe one for you personally in that journey, and one for you as a company, as an young entrepreneur setting something up.
Okay. Wow. So personally for me and for the company, I mean, the whole purpose and the core in and drives me and Christian, my co-founder, is really that this work that we do with the users, and being able to really like emphasize this individuality and using the design and fashion and technology aspects of it. So every time we get an email or a feedback from a user that expresses how much this has meant to them, how the cover has changed the way he or she views their prosthesis, like how the anxiety to go to the beach is gone, and more looking forward to really showing off the silver leg on the beach. And like those things are every time I would never, it's something I would never get tired of in this whole journey that we're doing. And so that's like the best confirmation that we ever get, and that we are continuing in the right direction if people still get back to us and tell us that this is how the impact that it has had. And I mean, it's so how me and the company and Christian and the company, we're so much like, for us, it's not the regular 9-to-5 job. It's so much the company is so much us and the other way around. So I mean, everything positive that happens with the company really affects us in a good way to do more. It's difficult to say one specific thing, but it's just the general thing that what always comes back to me is that interaction with our users, and to hear the impact or the meaning it has had.
Yes, on the one hand, you're just providing let me be a bit simple, a plastic product. On the other hand, it's in what it means in terms of changes in confidence and changes of how people feel about themselves. I think it's so important to get that feedback, but also at the same time to, as you said, push it forward, that more insurance cover these things, that it becomes normal to have 1 or 2 or 3 of them, and just say, as other people change shoes and other things, let's encourage people to express themselves, to, as you said, be proud when they go to the beach, or actually go to the beach for the first time without hiding their prosthesis, and say, no, that's me, and that's cool. I can imagine how that actually is a booster each and every time again.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
So maybe one day I should also think about a cover, because I must admit, so far I've never had one.
You never had one?
It's on my list one day.
I'll hook you up, you know. You know where to find me.
One day we're going to talk about that. Emilie, it's been a real pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you about being open and honest and having time. And really, whenever I talk with you, I can see the passion in your eyes about this work. That is great. Let me know when something new is happening your end. And maybe one day when these travel restrictions finally ease a bit, who knows? I might come up there one day and we're going to chat a bit longer.
You are so welcome. And we'll have that beer at one point.
One point, yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be your guest here in the pod.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much. If people want to know more about Anatomic Studios, want to find out more about the services you offer, the products you offer, where can they learn more about you? Where should they look you up?
Yeah, so check out our website, anatomic-studios.com. We also update our Instagram account. You can see the latest designs that have been sent out to our users to discuss specific things. Don't hesitate to just shoot us an email, and we respond as quickly as we can. And just whatever you have on your mind, just let us know.
Cool. I gotta make sure I put the contact details also in the show notes so people can find it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Emilie. You have a lovely day. Talk soon.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new episodes. And I would really appreciate it if you leave me a rating on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to learn more about the Active Amputee, make sure to head over to www.theactiveamputee.org, where you find hundreds of articles from amputees for amputees. Articles filled with inspiration, information, and encouragement to be active and live a rewarding life. I see you all again for the next episode. Until then, all the best. This is Bjorn from The Active Amputee.